Today I'm joined with Chris from South Staffordshire ADIs, and we're going to be talking about their association and a bit about himself. So Chris, can you get us started by telling us a bit about your background?
Yes, hi Michael, hi everyone. I'm a driving instructor. I've been an instructor for around 10 years now. The company that I work with is a company called Rio Driving School. We're a local West Midlands based company. Currently, we have about 12 instructors, and the company is actually owned and founded by a friend of mine, and we run it together as a partnership. And yeah, it's very successful at the moment, so we're happy about that. I've been associated with our local association for many years now. In fact, I found out about the association via a neighbour who was a driving instructor, and she pointed me in the direction. And I joined probably after 2 or 3 years of being qualified as an instructor, and I found it really good. I became deputy chairman around 3-4 years ago, and when our chairman retired, I took over the leadership, so to speak.
Your association is called SADIs. What do you think SADIs does really well as an association?
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange nickname. We're far from sad. We're in fact a very happy bunch. I think the main thing about our association is we really are friends and colleagues more than kind of competitors, if you like. We've worked really hard over the last 3 to 4 years to include everyone in the area. We've made the association a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more modern, kind of not so old-fashioned, and we like to include everybody. I think one way that we've done that is to really open up the social side of things. So although we meet or did meet regularly once a month, and generally have a speaker each month for half the meeting. The second half of the meeting is always about fun and about enjoyment. So very much focus on CBD and getting a speaker in, keeping it interesting. But sometimes we've been very diverse with who we've had come in and speak to us. Even people from Forestry Commission talk about deer and accidents on the roads with deer and things like that. But then we've had fun things going as far as bell ringing, quizzes. We have an annual Christmas quiz, and we also meet outside at social events. I also must point out that we're a tug of war team. We're reigning champions, have been for 2 years, and we're looking forward to hopefully retaining our title in August of this year if we can all get back together.
Who do you compete against in the tug of war team?
Oh, there's all sorts of people. It's a local town that put on a bit of a festival.
Right. Okay.
And yeah, lots of different teams come along, and we are the champions.
Yes, excellent. No, that's great to hear. Brilliant. So, what do you think are the kind of best events or most attended events as for local associations?
Well, always if we have a speaker from the DVSA. Obviously, everyone's ears prick up when we have a speaker that's associated with the agency. So we're fortunate enough to have a very good relationship with our local test managers, also with the examiners, and some of the enforcement team as well. So we've had a couple of the chaps come along and speak to us about all sorts of things. Obviously, when the driving test was changing, we had quite a few meetings where they came along and spoke to us about the changes, explained them. So we're very fortunate that we are close to most of our test centres and the people that run and the people that work within them. Yeah, go
on. Yeah, no, that's a great point. I guess I had like a whole question to go a little bit deeper on that. Is how do you foster a good relationship with a test centre manager or an examiner? How do you guys do that?
Yeah, I think in some respects it's on an individual level. So, you know, when your pupil's out on test, some people sit very quietly in the test centre, reception or outside, as it has been over the last few months or so. And some people are happy to chat and happy to get involved and things like that. So I think we're lucky in this area that we do have some really great test centre managers, and they're very much for talking to us, communicating with us, coming to our meetings,
Yep.
because at the end of the day, it benefits everyone. It's a real help,
Yeah.
and obviously we can then forward that information on to our members.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that's something that maybe some are missing, because like if you have that sort of a kind of human relationship with your test center manager, if there are ever bumps down the road or any problems, you've got that kind of relationship. Whereas like
Absolutely.
you can, where it's not going to be like us versus them. It's like hey Joe, I've got the problem. What do you think of this? And like because you've got that level of trust, it's going to be a much easier conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. We invite them to our events, our social events, and they also sometimes have their own. So there's some charity events that they organise, and we always try and support those as well. So it's a good working relationship.
That's great. That's really good to hear. So what's your ambition for South Staffordshire ADIs? Like, what do you have any future plans?
Well, the immediate future plan is hopefully to get back together again. Obviously, for nearly a year now, our meetings have been online via Zoom, and I think we all agree we just miss each other. We miss seeing each other. In the early days of the first lockdown, where we were allowed to meet outside and exercise, and that we did do some organised walks, all obviously with social distancing in mind. So little small groups. Quite a few of us have got dogs, so we took the dogs with us. We're very lucky. We live near Cannock Chase, which is an area of outstanding natural beauty. So it's good to see everyone, get some fresh air, exercise, and that. But that's certainly our first goal, is to get back to actually being in a room together. I think there might be a bit of a celebration. Perhaps a few bottles of wine if no one's driving. So that's obviously the short term. In terms of the long term, I really think just continuing what we're doing, because we've just seen the association grow and grow and grow over the last 3 to 4 years. I have a brilliant committee behind me, particularly my deputy chairperson, and we really have, our membership is 60 plus now. Which is quite amazing. It's going to cause us a few problems where we need to find a room to fit all those people in, but of course not everyone can make every meeting.
Yep.
So certainly I think, once things get back to the new normal, if you like, we'll be meeting, we'll be celebrating to begin with, and then just ensuring that we keep our meetings positive, we keep them interesting for our members. We already have some great speakers lined up. Obviously, we've had to postpone many over the past few months, but hopefully they're still up for coming to see us. And just keeping everyone happy, really.
Yeah, sounds absolutely great. Perfect. In terms of the industry, where are you most passionate? Is it with the pupils? Is it with the technology, or is it the associations? Like, what are you most passionate about in this industry?
At the weekends, I think I mentioned to you before we came on, I work for Young Driver, so 10 to 17-year-olds. It takes up most Saturdays in my calendar. That's really refreshing. It's really different. It's very enjoyable. The kids are great. They're very much on board. They're very excited to be able to drive a proper car, which is great. And then obviously my role as chairman, I do really enjoy it. It does take up quite a chunk of my time. Obviously everyone on the committee, it's a voluntary role. We don't get paid for it, but we do enjoy doing it. We work well together. So it's never a problem for me.
For local associations in general, what do you think is the kind of biggest challenge?
I think probably retaining members.
Right. Okay.
Because you obviously have to offer something that not only interests people, but also kind of is of use to them. I mean, we're fortunate. I'm sure probably this is the same with most local associations. We are affiliated to the ADI NJC, the National Joint Council. So that's a massive advantage. We get to hear everything firsthand, if you like, as soon as the news breaks. We receive that information straight away, which we can then pass on. In fact, everyone that's a member of our association is a group member of the NJC and therefore receives emails and news flashes straight away.
Yeah.
It's, obviously we kind of say, well, look, it's only once a month, for a couple of hours, you should be able to put it in your diary and keep it clear, etc., etc. But of course, people are working very hard. It's a long day out there. And sometimes they don't want to travel to come to a meeting at 7:30 at night, especially in the winter when it's dark and possibly raining. So yeah, it definitely has to be interesting. It has to be relevant, and it has to be something that's going to attract them and they want to come. We're very fortunate. I think we've got a great branch, and it's an enjoyable situation. It's nice to see everyone. We've got a few bakers, so there's always cake. So the waistline tends to expand once a month. But just keeping it, keeping it interesting for everyone, I think is the main thing. Talking more about the social side, we do have a kind of a Christmas meal every year, or up until recently, and then other things like bowling, laser quest, those sort of things. Those fun things, and that always involves a meal afterwards as well. So it's a good chance to get to know everyone a little bit better, and in particular, kind of new members. It's a great way of introducing them to the group and making them feel more comfortable.
I that's definitely would appeal to me, is like having that kind of social aspect to it.
Yeah, I think we all know that the job is, it can be very lonely. I'm lucky with the driving school that I work with, that there is a team of us. So we meet on a regular basis, and I'm part of a smaller team, but there are obviously lots of independent instructors out there that have no one, and so we offer the association as being part of their family, if you like, and someone to call, someone to get in touch with, and hopefully they get involved. And we've certainly seen the association go from strength to strength on that sort of basis.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, I think your numbers talk for yourself, don't they? So
absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant. And my next question was about how do you think technology is getting involved in learning to drive? And
I did start to look at using kind of like an iPad for training in the car. But I have to be honest, I do resort to the traditional method there. I just find it a lot easier to kind of react and respond. So my technique is to use an A4 size whiteboard.
I was just about to say
with marker pens.
Whiteboard. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
No, great. Yeah.
And it's just a really good way of obviously identifying things, particularly any faults that need to be worked on. If there is something particular, I think straight away you can ask yourself those questions: what, why, where, how, and it kind of leads to a more instant way of coaching.
Are your thoughts on the industry, and where do you think what do you think we can expect in the next couple of years?
Well, in the immediate future, so I think this year it's I think the key words are catch up. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the DVSA can catch up with all the tests that have been obviously postponed over these lockdowns. We've had lots of communication from them, so we know that they're putting everything into it. So they're obviously taking on or training more examiners. They're putting all of their examiners that would normally do, say, part 2, part 3s, standards checks and things like that into the tests. And obviously increasing the number of tests they're going to do per day. It's getting a little bit lighter at night, so no doubt they'll be doing later ones, hopefully weekend tests as well. So I think in the immediate future is, it's kind of how quickly they can get back onto an even keel with that. And that's a big thing for us, because obviously, we have to prioritize the pupils that we have that have tests.
Exactly.
And with the automated system, there's no real control over that. So, I've got some members that are saying, gosh, I've had 3-4 pupils that have had their new test dates. They're all on the same day. They're practically at the same time, and one of the 3 is in a different test centre. How am I supposed to cope? So, again, there, I think it's just so important that you communicate with your pupil as soon as they get that new date. They tell you.
Yep.
And if it's not suitable, then they will have to change it. And when they do change it, the question is, do they go to the back of the queue, or do they get a suitable or sensible date in the near future? So I certainly think that's the biggest challenge for the near future. In terms of further than that, I'm very positive. I think the industry does have a good future. The DVSA have improved the way that they're communicating with the NJC and in turn with us, and I feel that can only get better. So I think, I do think yesterday was actually quite a big step in terms that I think they listened to what we were saying, that we needed some time to get our pupils back on the road, get them driving again before tests start again. So, with that, hopefully, if it all goes ahead with that 10 days, that's going to give us a chance to get everyone back on the road and ready for their test, which will hopefully commence from the 22nd of April, if my facts are correct. I just think we all need to work together, and that's the main thing. Going back a little bit to the technology, one thing that does interest me, which I'm trying to learn a little bit more about, and that's electric vehicles. So, it's the way things are going. I'm not sure currently how good it is. I'm not an expert. I've got a few colleagues that do have them, but certainly we're seeing a lot of instructors change from manual to automatic.
Yes.
Which is one thing, and obviously, if you're looking at going electric as well, it's going to be automatic. Yeah. So I had my first test drive a few months back between lockdowns. I found it very interesting, and we're actually due to get an electric vehicle at Young Driver as well. So I'm hoping to get onto that and just experience that. So that's more of a personal thing.
So final question is, what would be your advice to ADIs and PDIs right
now? Keep your chin up. Try and stay positive. Join your local association without any shadow of doubt. It's one of the best things I ever did. I don't regret it. Don't dilly and dally. We don't charge a massive fee. It's only kind of to keep things running. A small subs for each meeting for refreshments and the hire of a room and things like that. But the actual, the experience that you will have, the family feeling, just knowing that there's someone there for you, someone's at the end of the phone. There's, and they will try. If they can't answer your question, they will certainly know someone that can answer the question. So
thanks very much, Chris, for that. I really appreciate that, and hopefully we'll be in touch soon. Your contact details for your webinar will be in the comments or in the description, and you can click. I'll probably put your email address there too. So, but thank you for your time, and we'll hopefully catch you soon.
That's a pleasure. Great to talk to you today. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.